The 29th Sunday of Ordinary Time. The gospel today is not an ordinary time for Jesus. The last few Sundays we've had Jesus telling parables, confronting the Pharisees with these stories about themselves. And they're starting to get the picture that Jesus is really facing them with themselves. So the gospel today is that the Pharisees and the religious leaders, they get together. How can we trick him? How can we make him look bad? He's making us look bad. Let's get back at him. So they send some delegates to him, and they say, now, we were wondering, what's your opinion? Now, this is going to be a trick. Is it okay, lawful, customary, that we should pay the census tax to Caesar or not? Now, this is a very good question. It's a tricky question because the Romans are dominating and cruelly mistreating the Jewish people of Israel and especially Jerusalem. And he is a God figure in a way. If Jesus says, yes, you pay to Caesar accordingly, then they'll say, he's a friend of Caesar's. He's not a friend of our religious tradition. And if he says, no, don't pay that tax, he's saying, he's against Caesar. Well, we can report him for being agitated against Roman domination, which in a way he was. So they think they've got him. And he says, let's look at the coin. And the coin has two sides. And there are two sides to the question. And he says, okay, what belongs to Caesar? Of course, because they're dominating, the Romans are dominating it. And of course, I'm also of the religious tradition as you are. So they are turned back in their own trickery. So that's the scripture lesson for today. But what's that about us? I have brought along a visual aid today, and I keep it in a velvet box. It's a very sacred object. And what it is it's a badge. My beloved Irish grandmother was the first woman deputy sheriff in Milwaukee County, which was a big deal. This little Irish woman whose husband, my grandfather, died from the Spanish influenza in 1918, she gets a position through the auspices of an Irish judge in Milwaukee. So this was what she wore, and she gave it to me when she was dying. She knew I would treasure it. And of course, she had told us the story, and we had been with her while she was the deputy sheriff.
Hold it so it faces us. Yeah, and turn it around just a little bit. Yeah, and turn it to your, yeah, there it is. So it's just shining there. That's nice.
I use this.
Perfect. Tilt it down a little bit, like that. Tilt it towards me, like that. Good. Thank you.
This is an image of a badge, authority, all that. For me, is an image of my grandmother and all that she was, and for us, and she was in charge of women prisoners. I use this as an image in a way. This is sacred. It has the image of a loving grandmother and a very strong deputy sheriff. Whose image? This is an image, and in it is an image of my grandmother. It becomes then sacramental. Mens mentis is the Latin word for mind, sacra, holy. So a mentality for the sacred. This is very important to me. It keeps my grandmother alive in my mind. Sacrament. Whose image is on the coin of the census tax? It's Caesar. And he was thought to be divine in some way because of his power. Render to God what has the image of God. And in our Catholic mentality, it's everything. Everything has the image of God. Even if it has the image of my grandmother or the image of picture, friendship, everything is an invitation, is a revelation, is a reminder, and in that way is a nourishment for our spirits. This nourishes me to my family memories and my Irish traditions. Things that are given to us, they're given to us at a time. I remember explicitly my grandmother's giving this to me. That was a time. Every time I touch it, see it, feel it, that time becomes now. The then becomes now. And it's a mentality, a sacramentality, a way of looking at everything. Whose image is this? It's the image of the invisible God, the presence. The gift or the thing could have nothing, just blank. It could be a cup with no writing on it or anything. And it would have, in our minds, it has the image given a then to a now. And it's a reminder of the then. And so in the Catholic tradition, we have the Eucharist was a then at a certain moment, and that then is now. And it's not just an image, but it's a presence. And that presence then asks us to see the presence in the images of everything. That everything is meant to be received. Everything is meant to be a nourishment. Everything is to be a reminder that even you and myself, we present the image of God. We make visible the invisible. We make the then a now in how we reveal the goodness of God. So that you and I, whose image? In our visibility, we are an image of the invisible but ever-present God. And we look at things and we can see their color, their shape, but there's an image that we are asked to see beyond it and within it. That's a great way to live. Receptively, reverently. And I can't do it all the time. But every now and then, and increasingly, the more we do it, the more it becomes a mentality for the sacredness of everything. Everything. Render to God the things that are God. It's everything. Nothing has the image of Caesar for us. Because everything is holy. Everything is a gift. Everything is meant to be received and believed. And in receiving and believing, I want to share this with you. I want to share myself with you. And I want to receive you as an image of God. Imagine that dignity, that nobility. And that's our faith.